It's a settled team. It's a very, very experienced team. All the component parts have good cohesion, good knowledge of each other's game. So they are in the sweet spot, as they say, in terms of games and experience and knowledge of each other.
How are you feeling about this one tonight? Just seeing pictures there in the crowd. The great Henrik Larsson is there. We can see Rod Stewart in the crowd tonight. Do you think they'll be celebrating another Celtic win?
I do, yeah. I think Celtic can and probably will win this game, because I think they will deliver. They're not going to take Brugge lightly. Brugge will put it up to them. But I think I might be misreading this, but I feel as if the last couple of games Celtic have turned a bit of a corner, or are turning a corner. Maybe they haven't turned it, but they're turning. And they're in a decent place now. And tonight, maybe they win this game tonight and they do a good professional hit job on Brugge, then they're into some seriously encouraging territory on that table, I can tell you.
It's really exciting times. We heard from Gary and Mark, Celtic fans, earlier on in the programme. I asked Gary, he was on his way to the game, I said, "Do you ever tire of the atmosphere at Celtic Park?" He said, "No chance. It's amazing. We all enjoy it." And do you know what? Here's why. Seeing pictures of Rod Stewart joining in the singing there, Pat Bonner. The players are in the tunnel, they're ready to come out. Another rousing night at Celtic Park. Are you expecting a home win?
I'm expecting a real good performance, and if they get a win tonight, I think it's a huge statement, as Tom says, for everybody around Europe, that Celtic are back competing in the big competition in Europe, and that's where we want to see them, and that's where we all, people who have been in their history, players, management, fans, people who have gone, no longer here, they always celebrated the European experience and the history of the club, and that's where they want to be, back in that echelons at the top.
And it's great, James, to see a Scottish side competing so well. Some great results and performances this season so far from Brendan Rodgers' side. Hopefully more to come. Just saw actually a picture of quite an emotional looking Martin O'Neill in the stands there at Celtic Park. You described, as I said, James, a couple of times in the programme, the performance against Leipzig as complete. It was a terrific performance that night. More of the same to come this evening.
Yeah, hopefully. I think that's it's impressive getting the results, and there's been big results throughout the last few years for Celtic, but the manner in which they're getting those results is the impressive part, because they're controlling games and they're getting out exactly what they deserve. They've been the better team, particularly here at Celtic Park, so I'm hoping to see that again. It's by no means going to be easy, because the expectation levels have risen, so people are coming now expecting Celtic to win, but you still have to go and earn the right. You have to play the way you want to play. You have to play with energy, and hopefully we see that tonight and Celtic get the result.
Yeah, final words from yourself, Tom English. As I said, the players in the tunnel just about to come out, and we'll hear the noise when they come out onto that park. It's always deafening. A team, a club right now in a very, very good place.
Yeah, listen, you have to have your wits about you going out into that cauldron, and Celtic guys have had their wits about them in the last two Champions League games. They look relaxed walking out there. I don't know how that's humanly possible, but these guys have done it before, and hopefully they'll do it again tonight.
Well, let's hope so. All the coverage to come here on Sportsline. Time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's Celtic against Club Brugge in the Champions League with Pat Bonner, James McFadden and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Kenny. Good evening, everyone. Celtic are tantalisingly close, really, to a place in the knockout rounds of the Champions League. A victory tonight against Club Brugge would all but take them there. and with a couple of favourable fixtures to come on the back of this one as well, they can even dare to dream of finishing in the top 8 of European football's elite competition. And the Celtic fans giving the customary roar as the UEFA Champions League anthem blares around Celtic Park. And it is game faces on for the Celtic players as they stand in front of the main stand and take the adulation. Club Brugge are a side not to be taken lightly either. 2 wins on the board already, beating high-flying Premier League outfit Aston Villa in their last game at home. The 3-0 home defeat by Dortmund was slightly flattering on the German giants, as was AC Milan's 3-1 win against Brugge in San Siro. They're a side who create chances, who make it difficult, and they can be disciplined as well when they want to be. But Celtic seem to have turned a corner after that shellacking over in Dortmund, a disciplined display in Bergamo, and a complete performance at home against RB Leipzig to get the 3-1 victory. And if they can replicate those performance levels this evening, it could be another special night at Celtic Park in store. A familiar looking Celtic lineup: Kasper Schmeichel in goals, Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusting, Greg Taylor the back four, Callum McGregor, Arnie Engels and Rio Hatate in midfield, Nicholas Kuhn and Dyson Maeda on the flanks, and Kyogo leads the line. As for Club Brugge tonight, Simon Mignolet in the goal, back four Joaquin Saiz, Joel Ordonez, Brandon Michele and Maxim de Cooper the back four, Rafael Onyedika and Ardan Yashari holding in midfield with Hans van Aken in front, Andreas Skov Olsen on the right wing, Christos Solis on the left wing and Ferran Jugla up front. The players now going into the huddles before kick-off, and Brugge almost stealing Celtic's thunder with a huddle, but the Celtic players now group up and the fans roar them on. And the referee tonight is Georgi Kabakov of Bulgaria. He's getting ready to take charge of this game. He is quite card happy looking back at his previous matches, averages 6 a game, 57 yellows and 1 red in his last 9 games, so we'll see how he manages this one tonight with this white hot atmosphere at Celtic Park. Live on Sports Sounds on Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. The players are all lined up, Celtic shooting from left to right as we sit here in the main stand at Celtic Park, and it is going to be Club Brugge, the visitors, who are going to kick us off. Ardan Yashari, a Swiss international, with the ball on the spot, and the referee blows the whistle and we're underway. Match day 5 in the Champions League, Celtic against Club Brugge. Can Celtic get another victory, which would be a 4th home win in a row in this top tier of European football? Brugge immediately getting the ball forward and pinning Celtic into their own corner. It's a throw in. Alistair Johnson throws it up the line, flicked on by Nicholas Kuhn. Kyogo comes deep, he's under pressure, and Celtic give away the throw in, and De Cooper goes to Van Aken. It's back to Solis, the left winger. Brugge on the left touchline midway through the Celtic half. Yashari into the feet of Jugla, and it's a good challenge from Engels, a player who came through the Brugge academy, knows the manager Nicky Hine well because he worked with him when he was taking charge of the Brugge B team, their youth side. Big switch of play out to the right full-back Saiz, who's in line with the edge of the Celtic box, and it comes in towards Jugla. The striker takes a touch, and it's good strength in the Celtic box, and they nudge it out the way, and it goes behind for a goal kick, and that was good defending. Taki Bonner.
Yeah, very good defending from Engels, who got himself back into a good position. Still were caught out down that sort of right hand side. It was a diagonal ball and was headed back inside, and I think it was Jugla that got himself onto the ball, and just Engels had just tracked him really well and prevented him getting across into the box. He knocked it out of play and gave the possession back to Celtic.
The visitors have had a bright opening 90 seconds though, and Simon Mignolet, experienced goalkeeper formerly of Liverpool, worked with Brendan Rodgers. He shells it long, and a wee bit of uncertainty at the back there from Ordonez and Mignolet, but Kyogo was offside anyway. So here's Michele, the left centre half for Bruges, plays it up the left touchline towards Solis. Carter Vickers comes, wins the challenge, and it's out for a throw into Bruges midway through the Celtic half on this near side. The visitors showing no signs of intimidation or being over odds. Why would they be? They've got good European experience in their team, as well as players they've brought through their academy have grown into roles like this man, Joachim Seiss, the right back who jinks in field and gives it into the middle of the pitch. Yashari now to Michele, along the grass to the left, back to Cowper, first time passing towards Solis, but Carter Vickers is back and knocks it to Schmeichel, who returns it to his centre half, Cameron Carter Vickers, who rolls it up to Alistair Johnston, then nudges it to Engels. Celtic still in their own half, but Engels moving towards the halfway line. He's chipped it towards Kyogo, but easily read by Ordóñez. Drops for Hatate midway through the Bruges half, tries to stab it with the outside of the boot through to Kyogo, but it's intercepted, and now Bruges will counter through Andreas Skov-Olsen. He's over the halfway line, he's going down the right hand side and running at Greg Taylor. Skov-Olsen step over into the box, and it breaks away from him, and Carter Vickers has it. And now Johnston rolls it to Kuhn. Celtic keeping their composure to play out as it goes back to Johnston in his own box. Kuhn with De Kuyper in front of him, and then knocks it to Schmeichel, the goalkeeper, who chips it long, but Michele's read at the centre half, and then his touch is heavy. McGregor steps in, and it's quite frantic in the opening couple of minutes. James McFadden.
Yeah, it's great composure from Celtic to not just put the ball up the park, and to play a few passes between Kuhn and Johnston, and it gets back to Schmeichel. Kyogo needs to recognise he's the only option. You know, the ball is a little clip just up the inside channel to get himself in front of the centre back Michele. He's on his heels, which isn't like him, but if Kyogo's alert, then Celtic beat the press, and then you've got the pace of Kuhn and Maida, the support of Engels and Hatate to then go and, you know, really force the issue.
Ordóñez goes from deep looking for Solis. It breaks for Jugla, controls it on the chest and tries to go around Carter Vickers, but there's no way through, and then it goes to McGregor, and Trusty in his box gives it to Taylor up the line to Hatate, who's dispossessed. It comes back to Jugla on the edge of the box, gets a left-footed strike in, and it's just wide of Kasper Schmeichel's left-hand post. But Bruges proving a threat early on here at Celtic Park, but 4 minutes played, it's 0-0.
Yeah, Celtic trying to be composed but taking a little bit of risk. Hatate's just got to do a little bit better when that ball's played up to him. He can't afford to lose it in that area, but he did. And then, of course, I'm impressed with the way Bruges has started the game. You know, they've quietened the crowd down. They've got their own support, of course, backing them. You can hear them in the background, but they've been very, very good on the ball so far. And the other player I'm looking at is the number 20, the captain, Van Aken, who's playing in that sort of almost number 10 position. And he's the one that could be dangerous if they won the ball like they've done here again.
Here's Yashari as Club Bruges do win the ball, and then it slipped inside Johnston, but he's quick enough to get there ahead of Solis. And now Engels is pushed by Yashari. That's clever play from the Belgian international against his former club to buy the free kick in line with the edge of his own penalty area. 0-0.
Celtic are aware of Bruges and their strengths. You know, they're really quick in the counter, but they're so composed. They look confident, in a confident mood. It's a couple of times now, so back to Schmeichel. It's just a nice confident pass either to Carter Vickers or Johnston, just to, you know, settle the nerves if there are any, which there will be, the excitement. But they look confident whilst also respecting Bruges. They're a good side. They start games fast. They are an attacking side, and they will get chances. But Celtic have, you know, just have to keep doing what they're doing when they win the ball.
It's up to Jugla in his own half, flicks it nicely for Yashari, who's striding forward into Celtic territory, comes in field, left-footed pass. Solis gets on the end of it and gives it to the other winger, Skov-Olsen, jinks in onto the left foot, edge of the box, deflected and wide. Bruges on top in the early stages, 6 minutes played, still goalless.
Yeah, you can see that they are all very comfortable on the ball also, and you talk about that sort of quick transition from back to front. They play it through the lines, and every single player is able to link in, and they've got a good relationship. So yeah, it's been a really good start from Bruges. Celtic have just got to, this is the periods where they have to hang in, don't give anything away, and they will gradually get themselves back into this game.
Corner near side to Club Brugge, the Belgian champions. And this is the side that Leipzig scored their goal from the corner from. It's a low one into the near post. I assume that was a miss-hit as Celtic comfortably clear, and it's played forward. Maeda will give chase, but it's Cam from De Kuyper who nicks it away from Maeda. Trusty's header towards Kuhn. Cannons off Kuhn's shoulder, and it's returned to him by Taylor. He has to go after it, and Celtic just can't really get control of the ball at the moment.
That's it, and you know, that's what they need to do, get a couple of passes in, link the play, bring none of the players have been able to have, you know, pass maybe 4 or 5 passes just to get a bit of, to get the game settled down a little bit. They've been chasing it so far.
Skov Olsen to Seiss, right back in from the touchline, gives it back to Skov Olsen, who returns it to Seiss. Now it's Onyedika, goes for the cross from deep, but Johnston will head it into midfield. It's not a good touch from Hatate, but he manages to recover and spreads it wide to Kuhn, who tries to go around Onyedika, but the midfielder puts a really good foot in. He's big one for Bruges to get back. He missed the win against Aston Villa after being sent off against AC Milan for a pretty horrible challenge. He's excellent in the middle of the park at breaking things up, but he can also get caught on the ball sometimes. Watching a few of the highlights of their games, here's Ordóñez, goes back to Mignolet, and Ordóñez, the centre half. Hatate goes to press but doesn't get there. It's long from Bruges. Trusty lets it bounce, hits his midriff, and then he stabs it forward. Kuhn into Engels in the middle of the pitch, now to Johnston. Maeda's making a run in behind. Johnston sends it, and then De Kuyper wins the header, and again nods it to Yashari, who goes into his own box to Michele, and Bruges just keeping it calm, but Celtic not quite, decided not to press ferociously at this stage, as De Kuyper goes back to Yashari, and then Michele in his own box.
They're finding it difficult to get a press because the way Bruges have set up, you know, it's like a 4-2-4 that becomes a 4-1-5. You know, they've got, you know, 4 on the back line. Van Aken's picking up that position in behind the midfield. Hatate's releasing to go and press it for Celtic in a 4-4-2, and Bruges are playing round it and finding those little spaces for Bruges to then go and, you know, have that quick counter. So it's just a period of, you know, sensing out when you can go, when Hatate can go and join Kyogo in the press, and when to just sit in and allow the centre backs and the full backs to have the ball. But, you know, that's what this level's all about. You have to figure out what your opponent's strengths are. It's all well and good doing it in the meetings and setting up, but when you're out there has to be a period of adjustment.
And Celtic just decide to knock it about at the back for a bit, just try and get some control of the ball for a bit. Nicky Hyen, the Bruges boss, out on the edge of his technical area, will be pleased with how things have gone so far. Now Engels is under pressure from Yashari, man, fires it up to Johnston. Solis wins it, he's claiming that hit back off Johnston, but the referee disagrees. But it's been quite the journey for Nicky Hyen, the 44-year-old Bruges manager. Stepped up from under 23s to replace Ronnie Dyla, who was sacked near the end of last season, finished the job off to win the title. He's managing in the Welsh Premier Division just 2 years ago. Here's Van Aken for Bruges down the left hand side of the Celtic box, and Maeda is dispossessed. Yashari has it, square to Onyedika, midway through the Celtic half. Central position goes back to Ordóñez, the centre half. He steps forward, gives it to Joaquin Saiz, then to Michele, and Celtic managed to step up as Bruges pass it backwards, and Mignolet has it edge of his own box. Kyogo's going after it. Mignolet chips it out to Ordóñez, header, and Taylor returns it with a bit of interest, but it goes out for a Bruges throw on the far side. 10, nearly 11 played, 0-0 at Celtic Park.
That was a better press from Celtic though. You know, they forced Bruges to play all the way back from inside their own half to the goalkeeper, just by Kyogo not going to the ball too early, leaving it to Hatate to step up, and then he could go and press on the second phase.
Chipped forward by Michele, but there's no blue and black striped shirts, and it's out for a Celtic throw.
On that last press, it was Maeda and Kuhn became narrow. Hatate is then trying to get onto Onyedika and allowing Kyogo then to go and try and, you know, force that press back, which they did. So maybe that's a slight adjustment that they have to make, and maybe it's just a little timing issue.
And now here's Joel Ordóñez, the Ecuador international, just 20 years old. Gives it to Saiz, then back to Onyedika, and then Michele. And back to Mignolet, the goalkeeper. Kyogo going after him again. It's forward from Mignolet. Taylor comes a long way to head that into touch. And I think the Celtic fans just trying to, well, are getting a bit frustrated that they're not getting on top of Brugge.
Yeah, they are, because Brugge look to be the team in control at the minute, and they're so confident, they're so attacking. The front three we've mentioned, Solis, Jutla and Skov Olsen, but you've got the fullbacks pushing on as well, the Kuiper and Size, as well as Van Aken getting in that position as well. So it's just, as I said a minute ago, Celtic need to just adapt to what Brugge are doing to then get the control themselves.
Chip down Celtic's left-hand side. Maeda can't win it. There's a bit of pressure on Size, but he has to just kind of scrap it out for a throw-in. And the Celtic fans like the fact that they've got more territory than they've really had in this game in the opening 12 and a half minutes. But it is Celtic 0, Club Brugge 0.
Yeah, I think they've also liked just that they've stopped Brugge from controlling a little bit of the game in those couple of instances, because they've gone and they've pressed and they've forced them in to maybe give the ball away, and that in itself gets the crowd. They can see what Celtic's trying to do, but they just need to get a hold of the ball, keep it flowing. Movement off the ball, we talked about it before the game, that's crucial.
And Callum McGregor gives it to Trusty along the grass. That's a nice pass for Maeda right on the touchline, and he's going to have a first run at Size, and he goes past him. Dyson Maeda, ball pulled back on the Engels, and it's scooped over the crossbar. Well, that's the first sight of goal for Celtic. Brilliant play from Dyson Maeda.
That's much better. Maeda gets it 1v1 out in the left hand side, up against Size, and he just knocks it down the line, shows his pace, flashes it across. Engels makes a run from the back in towards the penalty spot, and the cross is just a little bit behind him on his left foot. He's off balance. I thought he was actually maybe going to control it with the left and turn with his back to goal and maybe try and get the shot with the right foot. He goes with the left. He's just a little bit off balance, but much better from Celtic.
And that is exactly what Dyson Maeda offers, as well as what he does off the ball, of course, but just raw pace. Tests the young fullback and gets by him. Here Brugge though, Van Aken knocks it to Jugla, and it's given away, and now Kyogo has it in the Brugge half. He's running at the back line, doesn't have much support at the moment. Maeda's made a run and he tries to find him, Kyogo, but it's well intercepted by Size, and then Maeda goes down looking for a free kick. He's not going to get it. Brugge play on, back with Michele. Centre back gives it to De Kuiper, then up the line to Yashari. Pressure from Johnson, it's off Kuhn and out for a Brugge throw-in, but the Celtic fans, some of them, get to their feet and roar, because that's more like it from their side.
Yeah, that was a good movement from Kyogo too. As soon as he got a ball, the first thing his men was to get forward and go and attack and put a little bit of doubt into those defenders. He's just unlucky with that little final pass for Maeda, who's always looking to get in behind the fullback, and the fullback did well to intercept.
I think he goes too early, Maeda. I think he should hold his position, stay wide, because we know how quick he is. But Kyogo driving forward, he maybe thinks the pass is coming earlier and the chance is gone. But it's two real warning signs for Brugge, two positives for Celtic, that if they can get into these areas, they can cause problems, as we know they can.
15 minutes played. It's Celtic 0, Club Brugge 0, and Maeda presses. Ordóñez gets a foot in, but Ordóñez comes away with the ball, sends it long. Carter Vickers in front of Jugla, gets the header, and it's still out to bounce and out for a throw-in on the far side. Fascinating game so far. Brugge having the better of the opening 10 minutes, but Celtic just showing signs that they're starting to work things out of it and grow into the game, but it remains goalless. Been a chance apiece. Jugla shot wide of Schmeichel's left hand post, and then Engels over the bar from inside the area for Celtic. It's a Brugge free kick in their own half, and the referee is having a word with Rio Hatate, not sure what about, but on we go as Brugge play the free kick short.
He must have been listening to you, because he could easily have flashed out a couple of yellow cards there. First one, pull from Engels, and then Hatate just stops the free kick from being played. Sensible referee, and just to have a word.
Yeah, maybe I'm being harsh, maybe the games he's just refereed, they've just all been absolutely wild, but anyway, on we go. Brugge with the ball at the back through Ordóñez, rolls it to Simon Mignolet. First time pass with the right foot from the goalkeeper to Michele, up to Van Aken, first time round the corner to Yashari, forward pass to Solis, and that's really nice plays. It's worked wide to the right, and Size, and now Brugge are running at the Celtic backline. Size, edge of the box, finds Solis, who goes down, and Schmeichel picks up the loose ball. Solis is looking at the referee, appealing but unmoved.
That was a lightning counter. Great play from Brugge under pressure to play through midfield. Solis picks up a position just inside the pitch, and it looks like, as soon as they get the overloads on either side. Solis cuts inside, Saiss goes high and wide, and he continues his run. Solis, Trusty comes across and just does enough to snuff that out, but a devastating attack from Brugge there.
Yeah, what Brugge is also doing is that they're keeping the front three players fairly close together, and that's pulling. Oh, there's a chance for Celtic.
Ball behind for Maida. If he can get there, he does keep it in. It's up into the air, but there's no one at home, and that's good composure from De Kuyper, the full back for Brugge, to chest it to Simon Mignolet and relieve the pressure. And now Brugge are on the attack. Van Aken passes it over the halfway line to Saiss, the right back. Comes in onto the left foot and it goes back to Ordóñez. Square for Brandon Michele, into midfield for Solis. Scored the winner against Sturm Graz in one of Brugge's 2 victories at Greek International. Scored against the Republic of Ireland recently as well. Sorry, Paki.
Yeah, I was going to say, they just keep the 3 front players fairly tight and pull Celtic's fullbacks in a little bit, and then the opposing fullbacks then get really high up the pitch, and they're able to pick them out. Just this situation is picked.
It's fired into Solis. Sorry, Paki, as you exactly described. De Kuyper got really high up the left-hand side and was able to play it along the byline to Solis, and he's won a corner here for Club Brugge. It is Celtic 0, Club Brugge 0. 18 minutes played at Celtic Park. Match day 5 in the Champions League on Radio Scotland's and 5 Sports Extra, live on the BBC, as Brugge take this corner. Fired into the near post, and there's a header up and over the crossbar. And is that a Brugge header? The referee is going in there and points to the goal kick. Players were a bit dubious about what was going on there, and then there's a Schmeichel block from taking the goal kick, and Van Aken is being sternly told off by the referee. Words exchanged that Schmeichel does play.
I hope they weren't going to do what Aston Villa did, take it and then pick it up again, and give Brugge the opportunity to get that crucial goal, but no, they didn't do it.
Yeah, it's one of these things that see teams doing a lot now, is the goal, one of the defenders taking the goal kick to the goalkeeper. Yeah, and
what it does, it allows the goalkeeper to get into a position where he can see more of the pitch, and then he can make his decision when the ball comes to him, and he's a bit more composed. That's the reason why they do it. The distances are slightly different too, because especially in the goal kick, you've got to stay outside the box.
It makes the press more difficult for the opposition, because if it goes back into the middle, then normally it would go from a goalkeeper to a side. You can go and force it down that side. It was in the middle. It's difficult then to go and put pressure on him.
Well, Cameron Carter-Vickers chipped a ball forward there. I thought it was going to be overhit. It actually wasn't, and then he's gesturing to Kyogo as if to say he could have got on that.
He didn't mean it though, actually. And it was definitely a miss kick. Came off his boot the wrong way.
It's goalless here at Celtic Park. Ordóñez for Brugge, and he gets away from Hatate up the right hand side. Pass is picked off by Callum McGregor, though, and out for a throw in round about halfway for the Belgian champions.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the midfield of Celtic. Obviously they're trying to come to terms with Hatate's pushing on to one of the centre halves. The number 15, I'm trying to look at it, Onyedika, he sort of can almost then spare. McGregor's trying to push on to him, but he's also got to take care of Van Aken, who's the big captain, who's playing in the number 10 position, and they just got to get that right.
Here is Onyedika, centre circle back to Yashari. Forward pass, finds Jukla, and then first time onto Solis, who goes down under a challenge from Alistair Johnson. Referee's not given the free kick. Brugge come away with it. Jukla, left hand side of the box, cross blocked by Kuhn, who then boots it downfield, and Michele wins the header for Yashari. Really silky player in midfield. Ardon Yashari plays for Luzerne against Hibs in the Conference League last season. Hibs did come through that tie, 5-3 on aggregate, but he's made the switch for about £5 million from Luzerne, and he's a Swiss international, though didn't feature in the Euros, unused sub, but he's a clever player. And Michele goes back to Simon Mignolet, goalkeeper, controls it with the right foot, goes long, up towards Jugla, but Trusty wins the header, and Hatate sends it back towards Carter Vickers, but he also almost finds Jugla, and then it's scrappy. Van Aken for Jugla, up to the edge of the Celtic box, goes down. Big appeals for a penalty here. The Bruges players aren't protesting too much, in fairness.
I think it's a good challenge. I think Carter Vickers gets back, Johnston also gets in, and they just close the space off for Jugla.
It was a chance again, Kim, from Celtic, almost giving the ball away in a bad area, and came to Jugla, and he was true. I think the speed of Carter Vickers made up the ground. Johnston also helped him out, and almost squeezed the space that Jugla had to exploit.
Yeah, in fairness, away fans over in the corner were screaming for it, but the players of Bruges not so much. At Celtic, Hatate just a couple of times giving the ball away. He was trying to head it back to centre half, but Jugla was standing in front of him. Here's Maeda in the Bruges half, goes back to Trusty, square for Carter Vickers, who's in the centre circle, then to Johnston, right footed pass to Kuhn on the touchline. Kuhn jinks in field and then chips a pass towards Johnson, but it's far too far in front of him. Bruges try and counter. It's headed to De Kuyper on the halfway line. Inside ball to Solis, through the legs of McGregor to Jugla. Jugla switches it to Skov Olsen on the right hand side. Maeda does his defensive work and forces Skov Olsen back the way, and he goes a few yards to Onyedika and Ordonez, and that hard work from Maeda has meant Bruges have had to start again, and it's all the way back to Mignolet, the goalkeeper. Michele pressed by Kuhn, but it's through the lines here to Van Aken. Van Aken passes over halfway, and there's big open spaces in the Celtic midfield as Solis goes wide to Skov Olsen, right hand corner of the box, comes in on the left foot, and he flashes it just wide of the post. But another warning sign for Celtic, 0-0.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Van Aken, again, very intelligent player. He knows what spaces to pick up. As soon as the press comes on at the back four, he's the player that finds that space, and it's an easy ball out. And that's Celtic then almost in trouble, because everybody's sort of almost out of the game, and then they've got the pace to go and exploit it.
Yeah, and Skov Olsen is such a live wire, he's got such pace, and he's usually pretty productive from that range. Or it was trying to bend it into the far corner but couldn't find it, and Celtic a couple of times been picked apart in midfield. Here's Carter Vickers, low pass into Kyogo, touches it away from Michele. That's a lovely turn from Kyogo, and he's starting into midfield, chips it with the left foot to Daisen Maeda, left hand side, comes in on the right foot, tries to return it to Hatate, and sits overhead and behind for a goal kick. Celtic 0, Club Brugge 0, 24.5 minutes played.
Yeah, almost very good. Sensational from Kyogo to take the touch on the run. He just stops, cuts back inside, switch of play out to the left to Maeda. And Hatate made the run, and normally we see that pass, but Engels and Kyogo both in the middle as well.
Kyogo was so close to picking off that pass from Simon Mignolet, but didn't quite get there, and now Bruges are down the other end. Solis on the right hand side into Skov Olsen, edge of the box, Trusty with a strong challenge, and then Greg Taylor has it, burrows round, gives it back to Austin Trusty. Austin Trusty waits for a pass that there is no option there for him, goes to Schmeichel, then Johnston's good composure from Celtic. Johnston needs Kuhn to come deep, and he has. Kuhn jinking back towards his own box, then Carter Vickers and his own penalty, and he's passed into the bottom corner of the net. It's absolutely calamitous from the Celtic centre-back. He blindly passes it back to his goalkeeper, who wasn't stationed where he thought he was, and it rolls into the bottom corner, and it is an absolute gift for Club Brugge, who lead Celtic by a goal to 0.
That's a terrible mistake. Comes from the pressure from Bruges. I have to say, it looked like Celtic were going to play their way out of it. When it comes to Johnston, Kuhn makes a run to come to feet, but he goes back. Kasper Schmeichel had made the option to come back to him beyond the near post. He opts to play it into Carter Vickers, who blindly turns and plays it thinking that Schmeichel's going to be behind him, and he's not. It's a howler from Celtic from their possession in around the halfway line. They work all the way back for Carter Vickers just to pass it into his own net, an empty net. But you have to credit Bruges for the pressure.
Yeah.
Outstanding pressure again.
Yeah, great pressure, but James has described it. I'm not going to go over it again, but it is an unbelievable howler. You cannot turn and round and hit a blind pass in that position. You need to know exactly that the goalkeeper is there, and he did step out to make a position for Kuhn. So yeah, it hasn't clicked for Celtic tonight at all. It hasn't clicked. They've been on the defensive most of the game, trying to deal with Brugge. Brugge have played really, really well at this opening almost 20 minutes.
Well, Celtic are going to have to come from behind again. They managed it against RB Leipzig, conceded the first goal, roared back to win 3-1. They're going to need something similar here, because Club Brugge, the Belgian champions, have had the brighter start in this opening 27 minutes, albeit that goal was an absolute gift from Cameron Carter-Vickers.
Yeah, it was, and I think that Kuhn, he'd made the offer. You want to see your wide men going forward. It's very difficult because he was under pressure, but I think that the option is to pass it to Schmeichel, who can see everything. If he needs, he can put his foot through it and clear it. It's just wrong option after wrong option.
Kuhn fights Kyogo on the stretch, and he gets something on it, but it's up into the arms of Simon Mignolet. It's a better ball into the Bruges penalty area, but it remains 1-0 to the visitors.
Yeah, good run, good pass. I thought he actually could have controlled it myself. I don't think, maybe he thought the goalkeeper was coming out and he wanted to lift it over him, but I thought he could have controlled it and then hit it on a second touch, but he elected to try to play it over the top of the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper read it.
Celtic are having problems because when Bruges are going to press them, they're pressing in like a 4-3-3. Yashari is playing as a midfielder, but when they have the ball, he steps into left centre-back, which allows both full-backs to become wing-backs. It allows Van Aken then to become a striker, and they have the overload. It's really, really clever, and that's why Celtic are struggling, because they're playing against two formations, one when they have the ball and one when they don't. And Yashari is doing it magnificently. When Celtic have it, he's on Engels. He's not allowing him to get the ball and get into those spaces we know that Celtic can hurt you with. But when Bruges have it, he's just slipping back down, left centre back. He's then the spare man. He's dictating the play, and then Bruges are getting a joy because their width is coming from full-backs that are turning into wing-backs.
Bruges free kick after Johnson's foul on De Kuyper. They go short. Here's Yashari on the halfway line, inside to Onyedika, his midfield partner. Back to Michele. Celtic will need to do a bit of problem solving here as Kuhn puts the pressure on Van Aken, and the Bruges captain wants a free kick. He's not going to get it, but Celtic can't profit from the situation anyway. Carter-Vickers heads it out. De Kuyper wins it. McGregor mops up. Kuhn away from one man, but into Michele, who smashes it into the main stand next to us. Engels goes quickly. Kuhn into the box. It's Nicholas Kuhn. Crosses it across, and it's brilliant defending from Ordóñez to prevent Kyogo from getting a tap in. Corner Celtic.
Yeah, it's much better. Higher tempo. Kuhn does well initially. The ball's cleared and it's a quick throw in. And now Celtic have a chance to the corner.
Short from Engels to McGregor. Right hand corner of the box. Back to Engels. Engels takes a couple of touches, rolls it back to Callum McGregor. Callum McGregor with a left foot pass into the centre of the pitch. Alistair Johnson chips it to the back post. Maeda's there, headed away, and Van Aken lets it drop. McGregor puts a challenge in. Van Aken, rangy strike going back the way, and there's a flag up on this near side, perhaps offside from that Johnston cross, and all that Celtic pressure will come to nothing. It is Celtic 0, Club Brugge 1.
Yeah, in many ways I was quite glad to see the flag go up there, because it looked as if Van Aken got his pass away, Celtic might have been in trouble in the counter-attack. But yeah, it just hasn't clicked into, they haven't been able to get control of the game, Celtic, so far, and that then has stopped them. Just maybe every time they get a ball, they can almost, it's like they give the ball away. They're not in control of their actions, which is a shame really, because that's what we've seen them do really, really well this season. But you've got to give credit to Bruges in the way that they've started this game.
That's a loose one though from Ordóñez back to Michele. It's all the way back to the byline, and the defender's under pressure, hooks it away with a left foot. Carter-Vickers wins the header, then Johnson the follow-up, but it bounces in midfield, and Onyedika chests it to Yashari, and that's a bit of a blind ball. Hooked back towards his own box, gets away with it as Mignolet spirals it into the Glasgow sky. It bounces away from Taylor and Skov Olsen. Celtic throw in on the far side. Got 14 minutes left in this first half, and it is Club Brugge who lead through Cameron Carter-Vickers' own goal.
And you know, Celtic are struggling because when Yashari drops into the left centre back, Solis comes inside, and occupies, the midfield. Engels is in front, he's playing behind the midfield, and then you've got the Kuiper, who Johnston's trying to pick up. It's making it very difficult.
And here comes Van Aken striding towards the penalty area, goes inside to Solis. It's over to the right hand side and the right back side, who steps onto it. Now it's Skov Olsen, the winger. Again comes in looking to get on that left foot, corner of the box, and he curls it to the back post. Yashari's made a run, he's kept it in, but he can only put it into the arms of Schmeichel. He was offside anyway, or maybe hasn't kept it in fact. It's a Celtic ball anyway, and they get on with it. McGregor, Taylor goes high and long looking for Maeda. Saiz wins the header, but Celtic will get him thrown up towards the edge of the Bruges box. 13 minutes to the break, plus whatever may be added. Celtic trailing by a goal to nil. Still plenty of time for them to get back into this game, the Scottish champions, but they need to try and get to grips with what Bruges are doing to them, as the guys have so eloquently described. Here's Carter Vickers, square for Trusty, left centre back with a left foot, up to Maeda. It's not the best from Maeda, and Saiz mops up, and Bruges have the ball, and they're just taking a couple of touches in midfield to catch a breath. The Belgian champions have the leads, currently 6 points off the top in their own domestic league, but they tend to have saved their best performances for the Champions League. De Kuiper looked to curl that into Jugla, but it was mishit and went straight down the throat of Kasper Schmeichel. Bruges, as we've mentioned, will see this, albeit as a tough one, as their most winnable remaining game, perhaps, with Sporting, who have made a good fist of the Champions League bar last night, getting hammered by Arsenal, and obviously Ruben Amorim's departed for Manchester United, so that might affect them. But they've also got Juve and Manchester City, although that might be a gimme at the moment.
I wouldn't go that far. They're a confident side, and you can see why. They're a good side, good energy. Coach obviously knows exactly what he wants, and the players are carrying that out brilliantly.
Here's Hatate for Celtic, up towards the Bruges box, back for McGregor, square for Alistair Johnston. Johnston with the right foot to Nicholas Kuhn. He's one-on-one with De Kuiper for more or less the first time. It comes in field, runs out of room, gives it to McGregor, who goes across to Trusty. All the Celtic players bar the goalkeeper Schmeichel in the Bruges half at the moment. Johnston back for Carter Vickers, but Bruges get back into compact shape. No easy way through as Trusty steps onto the game, gives it to Maeda on the left touchline. Thinks about driving in field and then ends up just shifting it back to centre back. Trusty, now it's McGregor onto Carter Vickers, who scored that own goal. Kuhn on the right wing comes in field, stabs it forward to Hatate in the penalty area, facing outside the box, lays it to Johnston. It's well read by Michele, centre half, who comes across and boots it out for a throw into Celtic.
That's been the first time in the game that Celtic has had a bit of control. They've knocked the ball around, and it's about, we're 34 minutes in, and it's the first time I think they've been able to knock probably about 8 or 9 passes together, James.
Yeah, in the Bruges half anyway. They've had a few where they're trying to build and maybe the option's not on, but in the Bruges half it's been much better. But what I will say is, when they're playing those passes into areas we're so used to seeing the midfielder making that inside run, they're well matched. They're well matched with the Bruges players.
Mignolet goes long, Carter Vickers challenges, doesn't win it, and then it's fired forward, and that's a lovely flick for, or I thought it was, for Skov Olsen into Jugla, but it was actually too far in front of the Spanish striker. Maeda has the ball fired up to him, but the fans are getting frustrated because he goes backwards, and he maybe had time to turn there.
Yeah, he definitely did. You can understand, but it's probably similar to the period that they had against RB Leipzig, where maybe having the ball, and as Packy says, building that confidence and hitting a few passes, building yourself into the areas where you can really have an impact. Maybe this is a similar type of spell for them.
Here's Carter Vickers in the centre circle, gives it to Callum McGregor. Celtic 0, Club Bruges 1. The first half here, match day 5 of the Champions League. Callum McGregor takes it forward midway through the Bruges half, goes to Carter Vickers, who steps into the game, gives it to Kuhn on the right touchline. He's moving in fields. thinks about the shot and then gives it to Hatate, header, and Mignolet gets across to keep it out rather comfortably in the end. But it's a great run from Hatate. Remains 1-0.
That's a great, almost little penetrating run and a ball over the top. But I think again he could have controlled that and turned and either picked somebody out or has a shot on goal. He tries with a little diving header and the goalkeeper just read it very, very easily.
Onyedika with a brilliant turn to get away from Callum McGregor, and it's got Brugge right on the front foot here through Saiss, the right back. Thought about having a go at Maeda, but thought probably he's not going to get the better of him for pace. He's gone back the way. Ordóñez to Saiss, back near the halfway line, forced backwards to his centre back, and now Brugge just taking it a bit more time over their passing, trying to get back a grip of the game. It is a fascinating tactical battle, really. It's flicked on by De Kuiper. Carter Vickers has read it and dropped deep. Jugla was chasing him down, but it's into Johnston and back to Schmeichel.
Yeah, they've come here expecting what we all expected in an aggressive press from Celtic, so they've found a way that when Celtic commit the bodies to make the press, they can get beyond that midfield line and get at the Celtic back line. So when they work it in an area, if it's not on, they'll go out again and try and draw Celtic out.
Trusty forward for Hatate, touches it back the way. He's got Onyedika hot on his heels, manages to offload to Carter Vickers in the centre circle. Kuhn on the right wing, not had the chance to shine yet. Nicholas Kuhn comes in field again, and it's back with Carter Vickers. Now Engels fires it forward looking for Johnson, but it's meat and drink for Solis, who was back covering. In a 1-2 with Van Aken, and Solis is running over the halfway line. He's jinked into space in midfield. Maeda gets back, he's away from him now as well, goes to Saiss, who's running from the right back position. He's up towards the edge of the box side, then he's looking to return it to Solis. It breaks off a Celtic player for Skov Olsen, curls it into the near post. Trusty is there to head it away, and then Maeda steps in. He's pursued by Saiss, he's right down next to the corner flag. Daizen Maeda doesn't really have anywhere to go, gets a hand from Greg Taylor, who smashes off a Brugge player and then eventually gets it out of the corner, and then that comes off Ordóñez for a Celtic throw on the far side. And we are 6.5 minutes till the break, and it is Celtic 0, Club Brugge 1.
It's flown in, hasn't it? I know we've had loads of incident, but it's absolutely flown in. Tempo of the game has been as we expected. And you mentioned a minute ago, Kuhn hasn't been able, he's maybe not been able to get, faced up and go 1v1, but he's played two brilliant passes, one for Kyogo and one for Hatate. And but for a better decision, that could be the difference.
Brugge win the header in midfield, and then Van Aken goes back to Ordóñez, centre back. Yeah, it just feels like there's not quite been the same intensity about Celtic as against Leipzig, but that's maybe just because of the uncertainty that Brugge are creating.
Well, Brugge is passing the ball really well, aren't they? And they're winning that. Any ball that's dropped in the middle of the pitch, they're the ones that's picking it up, and then they're able to control the game in that manner. And I think they're moving the ball better than Celtic are. And the movement off the ball also up front is causing Celtic problems, and that's them dictating the game.
Leipzig were a lot more rigid. It was like 4-4-2. They tried to press Celtic. They didn't really get too much joy. This is a very fluid Brugge side, as I said. They're drifting in and out of different formations within the game, and Celtic are finding it difficult to find those gaps. But when Kuhn gets it and drives inside, if they continue to make the runs, he'll find them. So there is an opportunity there. It's not that Celtic can totally outplay, they're just not getting into the free-flowing best.
And that was a clever idea from Greg Taylor, trying to pass it inside to Hatate on the run, but Brugge intercept, and now here's Joachim Saiss, plays it down the line for Skov Olsen to chase. He's quick, so is Trusty though, and that's a brilliant sliding challenge from the Celtic centre back, and it will be a throw-in on the far side to Club Brugge, who have the lead at Celtic Park. Fancy themselves to get on to 9 points, and that would take them above Celtic in the mammoth Champions League table. Throw in on the far side, Saiss to Van Aken. Saiss goes first time into the box. I have to say, Packy, I've read a lot about Hans Van Aken in my research for this game, and I was looking forward to watching him, and he's lived up to the bill, and I have to say
he's clever. You did say he's not the quickest player, absolutely, but he covers the ground. He's a big, tall lad, but he's intelligence, and you can't beat intelligence on the football pitch. knows when to go, when not to go, get into space, get on the ball. He's playing that always number 10 position where he's not going to get exposed defensively because of lack of pace.
9 years at Club Brugge, 7 assists this season. Here's Nicholas Kuhn coming in from the left hand side, thinking about the shot. He's still going. Nicholas Kuhn into the box, moving through the legs of one player, and then he just can't get beyond Michele, the last man. Well, that would have been quite sensational. Might he have pulled the trigger earlier, but what a run it was.
It just looked like he was going to keep going. You're right, as soon as he steps inside, thinking about Leipzig where he just clips it at the back post into the side net, and great finish, but he's just waiting for that perfect moment, and then it looks like he's just going to keep going and get by player after player. He's unlucky in the end, but that's much better. That's something Celtic need to try and feed him, because even though he's coming inside, he's making it very difficult for Bruges to stop him.
Maida on the other side now, left hand side, drives in on the right foot, and a little back heel turn to face the touchline, goes backwards, then gives it to Trusty, who goes across to his centre-back partner Cameron Carter-Vickers, up to Engels, who drops deeper. McGregor, not a great first touch from Callum McGregor, and then Jashari is told to get to his feet. Celtic still have it. Maida, left hand side of the box, dummies the cross, back onto the right foot. Greg Taylor crosses from deep, it's high, Mignolet gets up, experienced goalkeeper claims that one all day long.
Yeah, it's not a great cross, it's too loopy, it's too high, it's easy for the goalkeeper. He's an experienced goalkeeper, he picks up good position in the box, and it just takes the pressure off his defence.
We've played 42.5 minutes at Celtic 0, Club Brugge 1, live on Sport Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. Ordóñez with a long ball towards Skov Olsen, won by Trusty, and then Skov Olsen stumbles and manages to come out with a second ball. Onyedika up to Jugla, and now Onyedika with a wonderful switch out to De Kuyper. First time pass to Solis on the left hand side of the box. He slipped at a crucial moment, and Carter-Vickers will let that run behind for a goal kick. Signs that Celtic are starting to gain a bit more of a foothold in the game, and Celtic fans are furious because Celtic wanted to get on with it, and Andreas Skov Olsen has gone down on the far side, and well, there's no real etiquette, but it's not a head injury, so there's no real rules about play stopping, but it's kind of accepted now that if a player goes down that the play will stop.
It's not a popular one with the fans, as you can hear. I think if it's not in the rules, then it's not as if he's pulled up whilst chasing back. I've seen that before, where players have stopped. I can understand the frustration from the fans, because you're trying to beat Bruges.
Well, you're a goal down also,
of course.
And it's 3 minutes to half time, so yeah.
And it was promising for Celtic. The options ahead: Hatate, Maida high on the left, Kuhn high on the right, Kyogo through the middle. It was a promising attack for Celtic, but I understand everybody's different in terms of how they play the game. Hatate obviously felt that the right thing to do was to kick it out.
And Andreas Skov Olsen's reward for that bit of play is to be over right in front of the Celtic fans on the far side, and I'm sure he's getting an earful. It looks like he's okay to continue, and the referee
now he'll get an earful.
Yeah, and the referee bounces the ball for Trusty to get on with it, and now it's McGregor for Carter-Vickers. Now Kuhn on the right hand side, who is the danger man for Celtic. Nicholas Kuhn, glued to his left foot, gives it to Greg Taylor. Taylor chips it for Maida, left hand side of the box, header into the middle. Engels has made a run, Yashari's there, back to the edge, Hatate can't control it, and then it spins out for Skov Olsen, up to Jugla, the Spanish striker, plays it off Maida, and then Trusty goes down. Is he going to get the free kick? He does, right on the touchline, the far side. We will have 1 extra minute at the end of this first half. We've played 45, so this could be the last chance for Celtic in this first half.
Yeah, and just come back to the Hatate stopping the game. That's exactly why you don't, because Skov Olsen's got up, he's fine. He's just obviously unsure of something. He's not in any great distress.
And it's with Celtic on the left hand side. Taylor back to Callum McGregor. They went short with that free kick. Hatate, final 30 seconds of the first half. Celtic trailing by a goal to 0. Carter-Vickers for Kuhn on the right wing. Again comes in on that left foot and nicks it away from Van Aken, but then runs into traffic. It's with Jugla now. Onyedika scoops it up to Solis on the halfway line. He's controlled it, he's allowed to turn, gives it to Van Aken, but that's better from Engels, who got a toe on it, and it's out for a throw-in. 1-0 Club Brugge, and there is the half-time whistle. Well, Celtic were magnificent against Leipzig, but it's been more of a struggle so far tonight. Club Brugge have turned up to play. We said they would be absolutely no mugs, and they've proved themselves an extremely capable and astute side. They have had the better of this opening 45 minutes, but, and the big but is, their goal came from an absolute gift from Celtic. Great Bruges pressure, forcing Celtic back into their own box. Carter Vickers didn't know where to turn. He tried to go back to Schmeichel, the goalkeeper, who wasn't stationed where he thought he was, and it just rolled helplessly into the bottom corner, and that is the difference between the sides at the break. Bruges have had a couple other chances. Jugla and Skov Olsen both shot wide, and Celtic have had a couple as well. Engels scooping over, Kyogo had one in the box, and Atati as well, which Mignolet was able to save fairly comfortably. It is still all to play for, but at the break on the Champions League match day 5, it is Celtic 0, Club Brugge 1.
Celtic in the Champions League.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Celtic score!
Join me, Billy Sloan, for a special with The Edge from U2.
I've no intention of retiring. Music is kind of my recreation. I do it for fun. Bono's singing those songs. He's singing from a different place.
We talk about how to dismantle an atomic bomb on the album's 20th anniversary.
Sometimes he went, well, you know what? The problem is your chorus. Your chorus isn't working.
And their mega concerts in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Our first challenge was to try and figure out how to present rock and roll in this venue.
Billy Sloan. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Champions League coverage for you this evening at half-time. Celtic 0, Club Brugge 1. That own goal from Cameron Carter-Vickers on 26 minutes. Elsewhere it finished Red Star 5, Stuttgart 1, Sturm Graz 1, Girona 0. Half-time scores: Aston Villa 0, Juventus 0, Bologna 0, Lille 1. Dinamo Zagreb 0, Borussia Dortmund 1, Liverpool 0, Real Madrid 0, PSV 0, Shakhtar Donetsk 2, and still playing deep into first half stoppage time, Monaco 1, Benfica 0. Tom English alongside me in the studio. Your thoughts on that first half, Tom?
Yeah, it's just a catastrophic goal to give away, isn't it? Bruges started the game very, very well. I think there was a stat came up that after 12 minutes, it's 60% of possession. And it kind of went from there. Skov Olsen, was given space out on the left-hand side. And they're getting a lot of space on the left-hand side. Curled it just wide, and then the own goal. And as the boys were saying, it was all about pressure. It was a hard press from Bruges. On first of all on Kuhn, and then on Carter Vickers, plays the blind pass back to Schmeichel, and it goes disastrously wrong, and it's 1-0. And really, we spoke endlessly beforehand about the Leipzig game and how Celtic never allowed Leipzig in the game. They didn't make any mistakes. They didn't give them a foothold. They didn't give them any softness, and they've given them one there. They've given them a goal away. It's a free goal. Celtic responded with okay. Kuhn looks very, very sharp. Very sharp, and that's the main hope, I think, for Celtic. But this is a decent Bruges team who are knocking it around well, have had a couple of shots, not afraid to shoot from distance. They're a decent side, and Celtic, it's not going according to plan. We bigged them up beforehand, Kenny.
Yeah, quite rightly
maybe
so.
we overdid it, I don't know.
Perhaps, Pat, what are your thoughts on it? It just seems to lack a bit of intensity, the performance from Celtic tonight.
I think Bruges is more than a decent team. They're a good team.
Yeah.
They're very good, and they have a way of playing. I think their movement up front is really good, and the fact that they've come in tight, the front three allows the fullbacks to push on when they have the ball. That creates a problem for Celtic. They can't, obviously the two wingers have got to be trying to look over their shoulder more so than pressing the ball. In the middle of the pitch, they seem to be able to look as if they have a spare man in there all the time. That's just about the movement off the ball. Van Aken can almost play, and nobody's really picking him up. McGregor's got a problem because he's trying to push on the AK, and also having to deal with him behind him. You've got Hatate, who's trying to push on to number 4, or Donze, the centre half, and he's going half onto him, but he's not actually even getting that close to him. So they've got more space, and they're exploiting the space in the middle of the pitch. And then when they do get opened up and play, the fullbacks, then that's their target. They're the ones that's free, and they're dangerous players, the two of them. They're quick, they're sharp, they get into great positions, and it's really high up the pitch. It's not from the halfway line, it's really way beyond the halfway line. And then they're in a good position to go and attack Celtic.
When we spoke before the game, James, you said you'd watched back a few of the performances from Club Brugge in the Champions League. We know they've had a tough run of fixtures. You told us they're a very decent side, and we've seen that in this first 45.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think that some of the teams I've played against, I'm looking at their attacks, and I actually, because you're not there, it's difficult to see. I'm wondering why they get so many players forward. I see exactly why now, because they're brave. They're a brave side. They've got real speed. Packy's speaking about the front three. Van Aken just in support. Jugla. The two wide men, Solis and Skov Olsen, are just coming in narrow alongside Jugla, which is occupying the back line. The Celtic 4 players. Van Aken's playing in behind McGregor, which is another player within that. The two fullbacks are becoming almost wingers as well, which is another 2 players. And the Celtic midfield are just struggling to deal with the makeup of the Bruges midfield. Onyedika is the one that looks like he's the anchor. You've got Yashari in there as well, who, when Celtic have the ball, is man for man. He's tight as you can be on Engels, but when Bruges have it, he drops into, it's not quite as far back as left centre back, but it's a deeper position, so that they've got the spare man in the build up, and somehow they have the spare man when they beat the press as well.
Yeah.
So they're a very good side, well drilled. They've got real speed and energy, speed in the pass. They've got real confidence and belief. And Celtic are struggling at the minute, are certainly struggling the first 30-35 minutes to get to grips with that. They look dangerous every time they get the ball. Bruges, real speed and intent to go and attack. Having said that, Celtic have had the 2 best chances. Kyogo and Hatate. So it's not that they're an amazing team and Celtic can't get anywhere near them. I think that Brendan Rodgers will make adjustments, whether it's in the press to just sit off a little bit and allow it to go out to one of the centre backs and force Bruges to try and play through you. But I think there will be an adjustment. There's still a chance here, obviously, for Celtic to get control in the game, but it's just that initial period they struggled, because I said it during the commentary, at times when Celtic have the ball, Bruges are playing almost like a 4-3-3, a 4-1-4-1 to a 4-4-2, and when Bruges have it, they flick to a back 3. They've got the 2 full-backs as wing-backs. The 2 wide men come inside to make it a 3 up front, and Van Aken's just finding the space wherever he can. So it has been a tough night so far for Celtic, but I have faith that Brendan Rodgers will make the adjustments required to get more control in the game.
You would expect that, Tom. Guys, we're just seeing replay after replay off the own goal. When you see it at first, you think, what's Kasper Schmeichel doing so wide there? But actually, he has made an angle for Kuhn, who's coming back with the ball, and he takes a step towards his right-hand side, expecting Kuhn to put the ball back to him for the pass back.
Yeah.
Kuhn plays it to Carter Vickers. Schmeichel's stranded. Carter Vickers doesn't look, turns back, hits the ball. There's actually no great pace on it, but Schmeichel's just too far away to get to.
No, it's all a bit panicky. It's all a bit rushed. Carter Vickers looks away to the side, see if he's going to play a square ball. He doesn't. He just knocks it back. What he thinks is a safe ball back to Schmeichel. He doesn't know where Schmeichel is, and that's all Bruges press. They've got it. They've hassled and harried Celtic there. If you freeze the picture at the time that Kuhn passes it to Carter Vickers, there's 4 Bruges men in the frame and there's 3 Celtic.
Yeah. Tom, the golden rule there is for centre half, you can't play a blind pass. You've got to know what you're doing right at that moment in time. Whether you clear your lines, whatever you do, but you can't play a blind pass. He didn't know where Schmeichel was, and that's the golden rule that you can't do.
Yeah, and it's right in the corner. It's right in the corner. I mean, if he plays it more to the middle of the goal, Schmeichel's fine. He can recover his ground. It's actually bang in the corner.
Yeah, I agree with Packy. You can't play a blind pass, but I'm looking at Kuhn and saying he's receiving the ball almost the halfway line. Can you just back in, get a foul, maybe take the pressure off in that way? Because Celtic played well out of the press up until Kuhn, really composed, comes to Johnston. You know exactly what he wants. He wants an offer to come to feet, which Kuhn does. Just back in, maybe by a foul, or try and... I know that the pressure's high, but can you turn and commit the defender, but at least back in, and then when you go back, just play it to Schmeichel. It's Packy's saying the golden rules: you don't play a blind pass, you also don't play it to the middle of your goals. Play it to your goalkeeper. He can see the full pitch. If he has to, he can clear it up the park, and then Celtic the pressure's off. But you're nitpicking here on players that we've praised for being brave and for taking the ball and showing composure. Sometimes that happens and you just put it down to a mistake, because it's not as though it happens all the time for Celtic. You're hoping it's a one-off.
This is a big test now, isn't it, Pat, for Brendan Rodgers to get this right, to turn things around in the second half?
Yeah, well, the good news is that for the last 15 minutes, I thought they were much more in control of the game. They had pushed Bruges back onto the edge of their 18, a bit like what we've come to expect. They're able to get then players' movement. I think before that they couldn't get control of the game, and that's why the movement, when they had the ball, was lacking. But now when you get control, then the movement comes off the ball, and that then creates the opportunities in the opposition half. So that's the good news. So if they can build on that, sort out the midfield situation when the opposition have the ball, and I think there's still, as James says, a big opportunity here. And if they come away here with a draw, good result. Now, considering what we've seen from Brugge and that they're a goal behind, that would be a satisfactory result. If they get one goal, then with the crowd behind them, you never know what can happen, but they cannot afford to lose the second goal, and that's the crucial. This team is really good at the counter-attack also.
But the fact is that Brugge have not had a shot on target. For all the possession, for all the stuff, for all the lead that they haven't had a shot on target.
They've had a few wide though.
Yeah, but wide doesn't pay the bills, Packy.
Right, okay.
Yeah, four shots for Bruges, 3 for Celtic, 2 shots on target for the home side. You're right, Tom, we gave it the big build-up, and that was based on Celtic's form of late. Very good away to Atalanta, terrific against RB Leipzig, very good domestically. Myself and Pat were in here for the game at Tynecastle on Saturday evening, particularly in the second half. They were good. Kuhn right now, the form player in Scotland, a very settled looking side. So I think we were right to go into this with confidence. The Celtic fans that joined us earlier certainly felt the same. And James spoke there about having watched Club Brugge, their games in Europe, and they look a very good side. They've shown that in the first half there. But it's just still come as a bit of a shock, I think, that I'm just not quite sure Celtic, maybe it's the way Bruges play, but there just seems to be a lack of intensity. It's not the intensity. Do you know what I mean?
I do. They're for a large part of the half, they got better as the half went on. They're a little bit passive.
Yeah.
Didn't have that threat that they had against Leipzig. Mind you, their threat against Leipzig grew and grew and grew as the game went on, and it reached a crescendo. I still think they're still in this game. There's encouraging signs towards the end of the first half there. Kuhn finding a bit of space, a couple of chances created. They're well in this game. I know it's a bit of a shock. The shock really comes from the manner of the goal. Not the fact that they're 1-0 down, but the fact that they've given them an absolute present. So, okay, take that on the chin, and second half, long way to go, and Celtic are good enough to turn this around, I think.
I think the shock also, Tom, is that they haven't been able to get right from the start control of the game, and Bruges have, and that's been, we expected maybe Celtic to have a lot more of the ball and maybe almost intensity. The crowd then lifts for the first maybe 15-20 minutes, but that didn't happen, and that's down credit to Bruges.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Leipzig came here trying to play their own way. I'm not saying Bruges aren't, but they're definitely set up to nullify the threats of Celtic as much as they can. they're putting so much work in defensively. We're speaking about them, in the counter and how brave they are going forward. They're putting so much work defensively to stop those little passes that they're so used to seeing in between full-back and centre-back. Runs from midfielders are all matched. So Brugge have come here total respectful of Celtic and what they can bring, whilst also imposing their game. So that's the difference. But I expect to see a better Celtic in the second half.
Yeah, and the guys are right, Tom. If Celtic can get themselves level early on in this second half, everything changes. The crowd changes. The whole dynamic of this game changes.
Absolutely, the crowd become energised. I don't know, we're obviously here. Have the crowd been in it much, lads?
No, they've been quiet for a good bit. Maybe in the second half they were really frustrated at times. I think when Maeda got the ball a few times and turned back, they got very frustrated around us. They got frustrated when the player went down and Celtic were on the attack and the referee pulled it back. Those things, but they have been quiet. They were made to be quiet early on in the game.
Yeah.
It was the Belgium supporters up in the right-hand corner that you could hear.
Well, let's hope they can turn things around. Full second half commentary now. Celtic against Club Brugge in the Champions League with Pat Bonner, James McFadden and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Kenny. All the stats pretty even at the break, possession, shots, etc. But the one that matters is in Brugge's favour at the moment, and Celtic are going to have to do what they did last time, in fairness, here against RB Leipzig, and come from a goal down if they want to win a third match in this Champions League campaign. Arnie Ingles kicks us off, and Celtic Park roars. He gets behind the team as they try and find a way back into this game. Taylor to Trusty, and across to Carter Vickers, and I wonder if Brendan Rodgers will have no personnel changes, I should add, but I wonder if there are any tweaks in the way that Celtic go about things in this second half, given what Brugge have managed to produce. Players have been tricky to play against. Here's Carter Vickers at the back, who, hopefully from his point of view, shaking off that error that gifted Brugge the opening goal, but Koens going down the right hand side. Back now to Callum McGregor with a left foot, back to Carter Vickers, then to McGregor, the captain, pulls it forward for Koen, who slips as he turned, and in a perfectly timed sliding challenge from De Kuiper gets Brugge the ball, and Van Aken chipped it forward for Solis, who then knocks it infield, and Yashari takes it in his stride and it gets a strike away, and it's just wide of the post, and Brugge showing they can break at pace.
Yeah, it was a save. Yeah, it was a save from Schmeichel. They can break at pace, 1-2 touch passing, before you know it, it's four men running at the back line, and it's a nice hit for Cassius Schmeichel, more than a match for it.
Yeah, it was a great save, to be honest. He had a full stretch, and he had just a finger touch to take it round the post. Otherwise they were going to be 2-0 up, and that would be a really difficult one at the start of this second half.
Maxime De Kuiper, the full back for Brugge, has come over to this near side in front of the travelling fans, who are in fine voice, to take this corner kick. The referee is happy and blows the whistle. De Kuiper takes a couple of steps back. He's ready to go. Takes the arm up, comes in with the left foot. It's low, straight to Tati at the near post, who heads it up and away. Callum McGregor goes after it. Kuiper gets there first and rolls it back to Ordonez, the centre half. Maeda's chasing him down and gets his body in front of him, and then it's sent back to the goalkeeper, but the yellow cards come in for Ordonez for felling Maeda there as he nicked in front of him. He just brought him down, and the booking is in. Celtic free kick, central position.
Great pace from Maeda, wasn't it? To make up the ground and steal the ball off him. I didn't think the referee was going to give something there initially, but obviously Celtic didn't get the possession in the second phase, so he's given the foul to Celtic, but just stops the game a little bit. They're all back behind the ball.
Callum McGregor is over this free kick. It's about midway point in the Brugge half, so Celtic not putting bodies in the box. Well, there's not much angle to work with either from the delivery point of view, but the referee blows the whistle, and McGregor knocks it to Trusty, who goes to the left and finds Maeda with size in front of him, goes backwards to Trusty along the grass to Carter Vickers, who's in Brugge half. Goes it to Johnston, back to Carter Vickers, and now to Trusty. Celtic took a few passes together here and pinning Brugge back for a few moments at the start of this second half. Trusty rolls it with the studs, back to Carter Vickers in the centre circle. Patience is the verdict for Celtic at the moment as Kuhn gets on the touchline and he's under real pressure, and he's dispossessed by De Kuiper, who moves it to Van Aken. Really brilliant work though from Johnston tracking back, and now it's Celtic who have it, but the ball forward for Kyogo doesn't find him. Maeda tries to pick up second, Solis emerges with the ball, then it's come off the back heel and McGregor has it, moving towards the edge of the box and gives it to Rio Hatate. Chance for a shoot, whoa, and it's just wide of the post. Celtic Park held its breath for a second there, but Rio Hatate puts it just wide. It's still Celtic 0, Club Brugge 1.
Two teams pressing each other, counter-press in the middle of the pitch. Celtic come out on top, and when Hatate struck that one, I was just waiting for the net to bulge, just a wrong side of the post. Couldn't have been far away.
Yeah, and that's the difference. It's Callum McGregor that's up, advanced. Maeda putting pressure on to win the ball back. Hatate is the option. It's a square pass, good first touch. It looked like a decent strike, just not enough to trouble Mignolet in goal, but much better from Celtic.
And that sure enough energised the crowd here for a moment. That was an equaliser for Celtic, but Hatate couldn't find the bend he was looking for to get it beyond Mignolet. Celtic trailing by a goal to 0. Carter Vickers takes it forward a couple of paces, gives it to Callum McGregor. He'd covered the most distance of any player in the Champions League in the beginning of this match day.
The big problem here for Celtic is how influential their midfield is and the runs that they make. But Brugge are just gone man for man. They're just sticking like touch tight to Hatate, Engels. Van Aken's the one where he's on McGregor and at times he will release, but that's why they can't find those gaps, because they're just been picked up. Onyedika is on Hatate, you've got Yashari on Engels, like right next to them, and Van Aken stopping McGregor from having that influence.
Maeda, first time pass into Greg Taylor. That's good defending from Ordonez, who comes across and gets a body in front, and I think he's won the throw-in as well for Club Brugge down near their own corner flag.
And I've got to say the front three also is keeping it really tight. Every time Celtic will get the ball, there are no pass. They've got to go round that three, and that just takes maybe an extra pass, and they shuffle across really well.
Up in the air, Skov Olsen nods it to Yashari, tussling with Engels, and then Kuhn puts the challenge in, but Brugge come away with it. Ball forward towards Jugla, but Celtic get a foot in. And it's McGregor for Taylor, back to Austin Trusty for Taylor. And the left back goes to Carter Vickers. But if they're going so tight for man, James, how do you get out of that? Is it people making different runs?
Maybe the wide men come in and make the run in off the side, but they're basically man for man all over as well. Skov Olsen's just getting tight on Taylor, and when he moves inside, he's passing them on to Jugla. And then you've got Solis on the other side, just making sure that Johnston's getting no time and space because of the danger that they pose.
Kuhn with it on the right hand side, goes outside to Johnston in line with the edge of the Brugge box, back to Taylor to McGregor, wearing the captain's armband, gives it to Taylor, back to Carter Vickers. Celtic getting it forward down the flanks, but then finding no way through, coming backwards, recycling. Hatate now for Carter Vickers, now McGregor, Hatate, McGregor, and out wide to Kuhn again. Can he produce some magic? He's asking a lot from that area. Back to McGregor, infield to Taylor, who's in central midfield as he so often is. Back to Carter Vickers in the centre circle. Now McGregor, back to Carter Vickers. Drew's just comfortable.
Yeah, I think you asked the question. I think if Hatate or Engels can come a little bit deeper, it leaves the space open to maybe get into the feet of Kyogo.
Kuhn puts the cross in, headed down, and then Solis helps it out for a throw-in on the far side, and you can hear what the Celtic fans think of that. They're celebrating that throw, which is taken quickly.
Well, they have the ball, so they have control, and they're moving it as quick as they can, side to side, probing, trying to find that gap. As I said, if Hatate or Engels look at the right next to Kyogo at the minute, which is putting Brugge into almost a back seven at times. If one of them can drop deep, it leaves the space. Then you get those little quick passes, the little ones round the corner, and that's when the space opens up. Can you run off your man that's man marking you? Draw him out, leave the space, then go and try and exploit it.
Here's Callum McGregor, midway through the Bruges half, gives it to Greg Taylor. Celtic 0, Club Brugge 1. They've played 8.5 minutes of the second half at Celtic Park, Champions League match day 5. Carter Vickers 4. Trusty with the left foot to Maeda backed away, and we've not really seen much of Maeda just driving it as full back since that first one he had early in the first half when he went past Saiss. There's not been a huge amount of opportunity as Carter Vickers sends Johnson running after that. Alistair Johnson forward to Hatate. It's not the best pass, evades Hatate, who can't control, and then Michele mops up back to Mignolet, who goes long, and Solis takes that down brilliantly, and then he nicks it away from Johnson. That was a wonderful play from the Greek winger, and then it's an inside ball which is read by Trusty, but then Yashari gets a foot in, and it's just changing hands right, left and centre, but it's out for a throw in on the far side to Bruges.
I wonder if even bringing a Bernardo on, because he's about energy, he's about running forward, and Engels and Hatate at the minute they're going into high positions,
they're getting easily picked up, James.
Yeah, they're going to come into feet. Bernardo's more of someone that will go and try and exploit those gaps, use his running power, his intelligence to pick up positions.
Ordonez, the centre back, that's a miscontrol, and he's let it run out for a throw in. Maeda takes it quickly into Hatate, fizzes it for Maeda, but it's not the best pass again from Rio Hatate, and it's out for a Bruges throw in, and they don't make the most of that rare lapse from the Bruges players.
It's not the best pass, not the best option. I think when the ball's thrown into him, if he turns and drives opposite inside side, he's got loads of space. Kuhn coming off the right, Kyogo in front of him, potentially go for a shot, but definitely drive inside was the option.
Yashari tries to move away from Kuhn, who's won it. Here's McGregor. Club Brugge showing themselves an experienced European outfit. Got to the last 16 a couple of seasons ago in this competition, lost to Benfica, but produced some fantastic wins over Porto, Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid, Conference League semi-finals.
Yeah, it's a real discipline performance at the moment with them. Every single one of them are doing a job defensively, and nobody's switching off.
And the Celtic fans howling in frustration because it's the Kuiper on the far side. It is at full-back went down and writhing in pain. Didn't think it was necessary, James.
No, the referee looked like he wasn't going to give the foul, but Kuhn stops. If Kuhn just continues to run and sprint to get the ball, he may well have got the decision in his favour. Can't see it so far away whether it was a foul or not.
Yeah, I would say that he's going to go to the bench here, Brendan Rodgers. Bernardo's warming up. I'm looking at Valle is the other one, yeah.
I think I'm not surprised it brings that bit of energy. Valle, we know, has got that energy to get up and down. Greg Taylor, fantastic player that just bring that freshness. And Bernardo, I think his running power will be so important when he comes on.
Bruges have it. Yashari, left corner of the Celtic box, infield, and he gets the return. Solis is there, and he's hit that off Carter Vickers, and it will be a Bruges corner kick. And Bruges using with confidence, really. They've soaked up pressure and done so, other than that Hatate shot, fairly comfortably. And now they're threatening up the other end with this corner kick as they attempt to double their advantage at Celtic Park. And it is Kuiper on the far side, and the referee having a word with a crowd of players on the edge of the 6-yard box. There's all sorts of jostling, pushing and shoving going on.
They've crowded in round the 6-yard box. Difficult for players when they're all crowded in that area. The goalkeeper come and deal with us.
Corner comes in. McGregor heads it away at the near post. It's sent back in. There's a flick from Skov Olsen, who was onside, but it's comfortable enough for Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah, thankfully for Celtic, because every single player just cleared the box without having any idea where any of the Bruges players were.
Van Aken, square pass on the halfway line for Jugla, who switches it with ease over to Kuiper on the left hand side. He's been impressive. 23-year-old Belgian fullback. Infield to Yashari. Back out to the Cowper. Dangerous curling ball. Back post. What a chance, Scott Olsen, but he sends it clean over the crossbar, and Celtic survive.
Should be two. It's a great deep delivery. Scott Olsen comes in and he's almost just trying to cushion it in. He just totally relaxes on it. He's trying to just let it hit his right foot and put that back towards the back post beyond Kasper Schmeichel, and it just bounces up over the bar. It's a bit of a let-off.
Celtic are making a double change, as the guys touched on. It's Greg Taylor for Alex Baye at left back, and Arnie Engels for Paulo Bernardo in midfield. So Engels off, Bernardo on.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, obviously with Taylor going off, why it would be the question. I don't think he's done too much. He's never not been in the game that much. Taylor, going off, yeah.
Yeah, I think just for Baye's probably a bit quicker, more intent to go forward and just try and be that maybe outlet. Not that Greg Taylor can't do it, but just a little bit of freshness in that area. It's just a different type of player.
Here's Trusty, controls it just outside the centre circle. There's Baye up the line to Maeda. Maeda against size, hesitates, waits for the support. Still got it, Maeda, left corner of the box, back to Callum McGregor, and there's Maeda. Not quite as confident, though. He's got the back pass here and then turned it, and then the strike comes in. It's in! Oh, what a goal! Oh, what a goal from Dyson Maeda! And just as I was saying, his confidence looked low. He turns to the box, shifts it on the right foot, and crashes it in off the post. And it is Celtic 1, Club Brugge 1.
Well, how to answer the crowd's frustration. He gets the ball initially, stops, plays it back, then makes a little run, then checks back inside and hits that unbelievable non. The goalkeeper had no chance with that, James.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it starts, he asked about Alex Baye and why he would make the change. His first pass is forward to Maeda, then he makes the run to go outside him. When Maeda comes inside and you hear the groans, Baye's the one that picks it up, plays a little pass into that space that we're so used to seeing, the inside channel. Maeda had a cross earlier in the game where he flashes it with his left, he just chops inside on the right, fires it to the back post, in off the post. Mignolet, absolutely no chance. It's a wonderful goal from Celtic's point of view.
Carter Vickers trying to keep it in on the... He was trying to shepherd it out and then ended up keeping it in, and Brugge have a throw-in down near the Celtic corner flag on the far side, and it's that wonder strike from Dyson Maeda has just energised Celtic Park.
So are you saying, James, it's all down to the manager's decision here?
Brugge have it down the left, cross blocked by Johnston, and Brugge are not going to go away. We've already seen their quality so far, and they're immediately back on the front foot.
Well, I'm saying that Baye comes on and plays a forward pass and makes an overlap and run.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he can take the credit for that finish from Maeda. We've not seen that too often, have we? What a strike.
Corner to Club Brugge. How will they respond to the concession of that goal on the hour mark from Dyson Maeda? Corner comes in near post, and Schmeichel gets the fists on it. Still bouncing about in the box. McKaylee and Carter Vickers tussling with it, and it breaks now. Strike from Jugla, and he can't guide it on target. And it remains Celtic 1, Club Brugge 1.
Yeah, the crowd's up now for it, and just now you've just got to use your head obviously also, because Brugge is dangerous. They're dangerous in that set piece there because they've got the bit of height. But I think Celtic now should be able to control this game and keep working the ball as they've been doing it in the second half. Just don't get caught on the counter-attack.
Yeah, they definitely have had control in the game. Brugge, as we've said from the start, before the game even kicked off, they're a dangerous side. But you're hoping that this gives Celtic the little injection of energy that they need, and that belief that they can go and create opportunities and score goals.
Kasper Schmeichel along the grass to Carter Vickers, takes it forwards, passes it over halfway to Kyogo, who drops deep. Kyogo for Ahashi, out wide to Kuhn, then inside ball to Alistair Johnson, tries to take it in stride on the edge of the box, goes down, full up from Kuhn, jinks into the box, it breaks to the edge, Baye can't get there, and Brugge managed to get it out to Solis. Now Yashari holds off one, and gives it out to Jugla, who tries to go around Carter Vickers, but that is brilliant defending. Got the crucial touch. If he didn't, then Jugla was going to run round him there, and in on goal.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Zola's a really good player also. Every time he gets a ball, he looks, even if he gets in his own half, he looks as if he knows exactly what he's going to do. He can avoid tackles and break that press brilliantly.
Kuhn, right wing, comes in on the left foot, puts the cross in. Kyogo's made the run to the byline and he can't get there. He's always a tough ask for the Celtic striker, behind for the goal kick.
I'll tell you, Alistair Johnston as well has made a couple of runs now that we haven't really seen too much tonight. That right back into the inside channel, right into the box. The one previously, he's so unlucky because he makes the run, the ball's played into his path, he just kind of jinks and steps onto his left and tries to bring it back onto his right. He's so unlucky, it's almost very, very good. And then, you know, the danger is, as you said, you know, you're leaving Solis in that position out in the left where if he picks it up, he can cause problems. But Celtic have to, you know, they have to do something, whether it's Johnston making those runs to try and get the overload elsewhere on the pitch.
Carter Vickers to McGregor. And that's an underhit pass, but Trusty's pace manages to beat Jugla to the ball as the Bruges striker was bearing down on him. That was a heart and mouth moment for the 60,000 Celtic fans. Here's Carter Vickers, fizzes it to Kuhn on the right touchline, returns it, and then Carter Vickers goes forward and Kyogo's running behind here. He's into the box, flag down for now. It's Kyogo into the side netting, and then the flag goes up for offside. So it would not have counted initially, at least anyway. It did look offside, I have to say.
He did, but you never know with Kyogo. He's so quick that if you play a high line, then you know you run the risk. But in any case, you know, flashes it wide. And this noise in here now will certainly help the players. You can see they've got that lift from the goal. The players will get the lift again from the fans. You're looking at, you know, Johnston bombing forward, and this is now the time. I know that at the minute, as Backy says, at half time a draw is not, you know, a bad result, but this is where you can take calculated risks. You're knowing when to go forward. You're passing, you know, can you play it forward and try and put Bruges under a little bit of pressure.
Bruges free kick from that offside goes back to Mignolet, plays it to Ordóñez. Maeda straight on him, and he's got a spring in his step now, and Ordóñez has to hack it up the left touchline, but Jugla's done very well to get there and flick it infield, and Trusty goes in with a headed challenge and tussling with Jugla, and it's a Bruges throw in front of the dugouts here at Celtic Park. But there's certainly a ferocity in that Celtic pressure, a bit more confidence after that equaliser from Daisen Maeda, and what an equaliser it was too. Turning, striking off the far post, Saiz that way, and McGregor loses out to Skov Olsen, who runs laterally into the centre circle, and Michele over to the left back, and it's returned to the centre half, curls it for Ordóñez, and Maeda fancies this, but it's away to Saiz. Bailly gets up on top of his opposite number, and then Trusty comes across and tackles Ferhan Jugla, and it's a throw-in to Bruges midway through the Celtic half. We have played 21 and a half minutes in the second period, and it is Celtic 1, Club Bruges 1. Bruges with the opening goal, Carter Vickers passing it into his own net, unaware of where Kasper Schmeichel was in the first half. Daisen Maeda's equaliser in the second. Big switch of play looking for Saiz, and he won't get there, and it goes out for a Celtic throw-in down near the edge of their own box.
It's been a fascinating second half though.
Yeah.
You know, Celtic getting control of the game, but also the way that Bruges has worked defensively, and then really dangerous when they have good possession themselves, and they move the ball so well.
It's fired forwards for Bruges. Johnston header, Bernardo around the corner, he's caught late, or he's not according to the referee. Misplaced pass though from Bruges. Bailly has it, he's over the halfway line, the replacement left back. Bailly shimmies and then gives it to Callum McGregor. Maeda had made a run, but Bailly opts to slow things down for now. Carter Vickers taking it forward under no pressure at the moment. Kuhn is the option wide right, which Carter Vickers uses. Comes in off the wing. It's now back with Carter Vickers. Then McGregor Pass forward to Hatate towards the edge of the box. Hatate goes down. Onyedika with a good challenge, and now Bruges can counter. Van Aken stabs it forward. Solis has the pace to get there. This is dangerous for Bruges. It's rolled now to Skov Olsen. Returns it to Yashari. Yashari in the box around the penalty spot. Brilliant challenge from Carter Vickers. And then Solis curls it to the back post. Johnston's header as Van Aken was lurking. And then it's headed back to Kasper Schmeichel. And that wave of attack comes to an end. It's Celtic 1, Club Bruges 1.
Great recovery, because it was a dangerous counter from Club Bruges, showing that, you know, they're still in this game to win it.
Misplaced pass from Hatate. Van Aken has it towards the Celtic box. Skov Olsen. Now Yashari left-footed pass to Solis. Yashari gets it back into Onyedika, and Yashari and Bruges just happy to have a bit of spell of possession, because they've not seen nearly as much of it in this second half. De Kuyper curls one in. It's controlled by Solis. Carter Vickers breaks in the box for Jugla. Stab to finish in. Goal! Club Bruges lead again at Celtic Park. And it is Ferran Jugla, the Spanish striker, who slides and celebrates in front of the visiting fans. And Bruges have been under pressure in this second half, but they've come up with a big moment, and they are back in front. Celtic 1, Club Bruges 2.
Yeah, it comes from Hatate giving the ball away initially out in that sort of almost Celtic's right hand side, and they weren't able to recover and get themselves in. And as soon as that ball comes in the box, great control though inside the box, and a lovely finish at the end of it all, but just in control of what they were actually doing inside the box was brilliant, I thought, from Bruges. But Celtic just being there, you know, giving the ball away in a dangerous area and allowing just Bruges, who's a good team, to just get themselves into a great position to put that cross in.
Yeah, it's great play in and around the box. I actually thought potential for offside because of, you know, how far advanced Jugla was. I just wonder if he's just beyond as he plays it, because when it comes, I think it's Van Aken that plays the pass. When it comes to him, I thought he was going to get the shot away, and it's a clever little reverse pass into the path of Jugla, but he looked to me as if he was just a little bit advanced.
Well, they are checking it for offside, and it is disallowed.
Wow.
The Celtic fans get to their feet, and Celtic survive. Ferran Jugla's goal does not count, and it is a huge moment in this game which has galvanised Celtic Park.
Yeah, well, listen, they've got to learn from that, you know, and again, Hatate's got to learn, don't put the ball at risk in the wrong area. You've got to be really sure at this level.
Yeah, look, you're right. They have to make sure that they cut out the errors and don't invite, you know, it's easy chances. But what it's also done is given Bruges a lift, because if the ball in the back of the net, and look, it's disappointing that they haven't, for them, it's not counted. But look at the energy; it's re-energised them.
Yeah, they're pressing Celtic. It's back to Schmeichel, who goes short to Hatate, takes it inside his own box. He's got Onyedika at his back. He's managed to turn away and nip outside the area, which is good from the midfielder. Johnston for Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers plays it up the line to Hatate, and an inside ball to Johnston is intercepted. Brilliant from McGregor to block the ball up to the edge of the box, though. And now Ordonez steps onto it, the centre half for Bruges. It's frantic stuff at Celtic Park, where it is Celtic 1, Club Bruges 1. Bruges thought they'd taken the lead a moment ago as Maida presses Michele, but Ferran Jugla's close range strike chopped off. Carter Vickers heads it into the centre circle. Onyedika collects. Ordonez, the centre half, to his defensive partner Michele. Low ball into Solis, who's inside the pitch, and then his pass out wide to Van Aken is loose, and Celtic will have the throw-in. And Celtic, you feel, just need to consolidate here a bit for a few moments.
Yeah, they need to try and get out of, you know, their defensive third. Anytime they get into a position, you know, we've seen it, the goal was disallowed. Hatate taking that risky pass. Again, you know, he tries to play. Is it the decision from Alistair Johnston that make that inside run? Could he maybe just, you know, either go round him or hold his run and allow Hatate to get his head up? And this is where I think Celtic get a bit of joy. If Carter Vickers can keep driving forward, then it draws a player towards him, then you can find the pass and get your overload.
Which is exactly what he's done, is he gives it out wide to Nicholas Kuhn, who jinks inside brilliantly. Johnston returns it to Kuhn, right hand side of the box, checks back on the left foot at the byline, and it doesn't come back all the way to Bernardo, and Club Brugge recover the ball, and De Kuyper sends it long. Carter Vickers, first time pass to Bernardo. Great feet from the Portuguese midfielder to keep the possession. Trusty, centre circle for Baye. Baye comes in the field, little drag back, and then Maeda's wanting the pass played. It is eventually given to Maeda, up against Saiz. Maeda in on the right foot. Hatate, Maeda returns it, forces it to Bernardo, edge of the box, Paulo Bernardo. Now it's Kuhn. Kuhn inside the area, can't jink between two Bruges players, and it goes over on the far side for a Celtic throw-in next to the corner flag.
Yeah, this game can go anyway. You know, we're left almost going into the last 15 minutes of this game, and both teams are capable of pulling out this crucial goal.
Here's Hatate. Celtic 1, Club Brugge 1. McGregor.
More action on the bench here. Ida and Forrest getting ready.
Here is Carter Vickers, just outside the centre circle, middle of the pitch. Gives it to Callum McGregor. The tension building here at Celtic Park. Will we get a winner in the final 15 minutes as Kuhn jinks on the edge of the box, comes in on the left foot, lays it to Bernardo, left foot, back on the right foot, it's Paulo Bernardo, and his shot flashes just wide, but Celtic with some crisp passing. That was a well-worked opportunity, but to no avail. Celtic 1, Bruges 1.
You know, I think if that was on target, I don't think the goalkeeper was getting it, because he was kind of almost backing off, because Bernardo went onto his left and checked onto his right, and it kind of bamboozled the goalkeeper a little bit, and his position wasn't great.
It done us looking at it as well. I thought that was going to fly off his left foot. He winds up to have the shot. It's a little fake back onto the right, and he just doesn't catch it how he wants to. But again, promising signs.
Saiz up the line, and Scott Olsen will get on the end of this, and he's fired it in towards Jutgla, but Cameron Carter-Vickers wins the foot race and passes it to Schmeichel, who takes a touch, and then he almost falls there, Kasper Schmeichel, but gets it away to Johnston. Bernardo goes across, and Celtic have the throw in, and we're going to get those changes. James Forrest and Adamida are the players ready to come on for Celtic. Romeo Vermont, the striker for Bruges, is stripped and ready to come on as well. So Kyogo is going to come off for Celtic, and Daisen Maeda, the goal scorer, is the other player who's going to be replaced.
Yeah, listen, he scored a great goal. Maeda, I don't think he's at the best game tonight, but he's always a threat in behind. Kyogo didn't really get into the game either. I don't think there was a lot of balls into areas where he could go, but they're both of them are big threats. Yeah. But now the two coming on needs to show that they can do something in a game that meant this game like this.
Yeah, they're a bit different as well. Forrest will get the ball and try and take people on with that. Great introduction, great touch, spin, hold to the ground. And there's a booking as well from McKelly.
Yeah, that was clever from Adamida. And Bruges are going for this as well, because they're bringing on two players of the attacking variety, striker Romeo Vermont and James Dean Tolby, winger. And it's going to be Skov Olsen who is going to come off, or one of the players to come off, the Danish international. So Romeo Vermont has started the last 5 league games, but he's tended to be on the bench in the Champions League. He is replacing Ferran Jutgla, whose goal was chopped off, and it's James Dean Tolby, the winger, and Romeo Vermont to come on. It's pretty much like for like for Club Brugge.
Yeah, not so much for Celtic. You know, you've got that physicality now of Vida, where you can play it into his feet and get in and around them. You can also put crosses in. And James Forrest, he wants to get on the ball, he draws players in, and then that's when you can pop it off, get your runners, create the space. Talking about trying to get that overload for Celtic, I think Forrest can provide that.
New deal in the last week for James Forrest, 2026. He'll be at Celtic until, as Kuhn spins just over the halfway line. Can't get round his man though, and it breaks for Solis. He'll knock it back to Michele, the centre half, who tings it through the air to Joaquin Saiz, who's got Forrest at his back, but that's a lovely turn. And Saiz marches over the halfway line. Hatate gets back, tackle, and Celtic have it. McGregor for Trusty. And now Carter Vickers. And this game is there for the taking. If one of these sides can step up and produce a big moment into the final 12.5 minutes of the 90. Carter Vickers rolls it with the studs at centre back. gives it to Johnston. Johnston goes back to Kasper Schmeichel. First time pass to Austin Trusty. Trusty's got green grass in front of him if he wants to take advantage, and he does. He goes over the halfway line, but Romeo Vermont has tracked back well and put a sliding challenge in. Celtic throw in front of the dugouts. Brendan Rodgers asking for some movement from Ida, and gets it. That's good play from Adam Ida. Holds up the throw in from Baye and then returns it to the fullback. Alex Baye tripped by Talby, and it will be a Celtic free kick about 40-35 yards out or something, middle of the pitch.
Good play from Adam Ida. Brilliant. Coming on, just using his body strength to keep the defender away from, and the ball's played into that side that he's got freedom, and he just takes a player into the game. Really good play.
Celtic take it short. Forrest running it side, so he gets a foot in, and it will be a throw into Celtic on this near side in front of the main stand down next to the corner flag. Closing stages on Sports Sounds on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. It's been a compelling match at Celtic Park between the champions of Scotland and the champions of Belgium. It is Celtic coming forward, but the return for Valle on the edge of the box can't quite reach him, and it's back with Kasper Schmeichel now under some pressure from Vermont. Gets it away to Carter Vickers. Johnston is showing an option, and he rolls it to Callum McGregor. McGregor for Hatate, still in his own half. Takes it over the halfway line now. Forrest on the left touchline. Forrest coming in field, driving towards the edge of the box, chips it in. Bernardo had made the run, but McKaylee was there to head it outside the area. Really good defending from the experienced centre half.
So close from Forrest. He cuts inside. Bernardo made a great run, just a little bit more on it, and it's reaching him.
And then Sykes with a good bit of defending as he goes shoulder to shoulder with Forrest, and it cannons off the Celtic winger out for a Bruges throw-in. It remains 1-1.
An impressive young player, isn't he, Sykes? 19 years old.
Yeah.
Got pace, he's got ability on the ball.
Trusty heads it forwards. Forrest flicks it. Hatate sticks the leg behind him and connects with the studs, but Bruges have it. Size chips it forwards towards Vermont. Trusty and Bernardo win that battle. Baye, not much space to work with us to go back to Trusty. And it is edgier stuff at Celtic Park. This game could go either way. Finally poised at 1-1. Trusty goes back to Kasper Schmeichel. A reminder, Celtic could get a winner here, take them on to 10 points, and it would be a massive step towards the knockout rounds. Up towards Ida, controls it on the chest in his own half, but runs out of room, and Talby wins it.
And he was pulled back there. Sorry, referee's let a lot go tonight, hasn't he?
After my big build-up as well about the yellow
I'd love
cards.
to agree with you, Packy, but I think Ida's got to do better.
Well, you are the striker. He's
got to do better.
The expert.
See, when it comes in, because it's clipped up, he's always running forward. At some point you've got to stop. So if you stop and then control it, the defender can't get round you, but he takes his touch on the move, which the momentum then is always going to go with the defender, and your touch is more likely to be heavier. As soon as you get into position, hold your position, back into the defender, then control it, and you're in control of the situation.
I will totally bow to your expertise, James. Imagine me telling you how you should play that position.
Well, I would tell you how to be a goalie, so you can tell me how to be a striker if you want.
Celtic 1, Club Brugge 1. Cameron Carter-Vickers passes it forward to Johnson. Brilliant turn from the right back. He's in the middle of the pitch and he's driving towards the edge of the box. Alistair Johnson finds Forrest, edge of the area, and it's Rio Hatate. Hatate slips as he tried to make the final touch. Goes down, looks at the referee, and then there's a pull from Onyedika. It's behind for the goal kick, and the chance is gone. 1-1.
He just slips, I think, didn't he? It was unbelievable from Alistair Johnson. Initially a little touch with the outside of the boot, driving at the heart of the defence, and then when he plays it to Forrest, he plays it into the path of the attack in that run that we're so used to seeing. I think he just needs to swing the left leg at it. He tries to cut back, he slips, Onyedika comes back. There may well have been contact, but I think it's due to the fact that Hatate slips.
Yeah, make the goalkeeper make a save.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's quite tight angle and the space wasn't there, but make the goalkeeper make a save. You never know what could happen. The deflection off the goalkeeper.
Simon Mignolet's free kick, goal kick I should say, over the halfway line. Carter-Vickers with a strong challenge. Has that taken a nick off a Bruges player? Has not, according to the far side linesman. I thought it did, but as did a few thousand others in Celtic Park, as you probably heard. Bruges go back to Mignolet, controls it with the outside of the right boot, smashes it long over the halfway line. Trusty gets a nudge from Vermont, goes down and gets the free kick, and that's clever defending from Austin Trusty, who is very much growing into his role at Celtic, having taken the jersey off Liam Scales, and that is the established order of things at the moment in terms of the Celtic backline. But Scales will have a part to play this season, no doubt about that. Baye, and that's not a great pass. Onyedika's header. Bernardo wins it though. He's cannoning around. Bernardo flicks it for Hatate, who can't control it, but he recovers to stab it with his toe to Forrest, left hand side of the box. Hatate returns it to Forrest, but Yashari steps in, and then good body strength from Ardon Yashari gets in front of Bernardo, buys a free kick, and Bernardo goes in the referee's book.
That's a good free kick.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
because if he didn't take him, I think he was away, and suddenly he had players higher up the pitch that he could link up with. So I think it's a good free kick and a good yellow card.
Yeah, there's a few groans around because Hatate's been a little bit untidy. I wouldn't say slack. He's just waiting to try and play the perfect pass and be perfectly set for it. A little bit hesitant, and you can feel that, you know, because he's in and around the box. The fans are wanting that a little bit quicker, but you know, you have to you know, trust Hatate that he feels he has to be ready to play that pass. But again, Celtic getting in promising positions, just maybe not finding that final ball to create the opening or making that final decision. It's going to be decisive.
Carter Vickers wins the header ahead of Bruges striker Vermont, and it's back with Yashari, finds a nice pass to Vermont, goes from distance, low strike, bounces into the chest of Kasper Schmeichel, and it's comfortable goalkeeping for the Celtic number one.
Yeah, Celtic again going to the bench, I think, just looking at somebody warming up. Cowan, yeah, maybe for Hatate.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah, it's been a bit more of a difficult night for Rio Hatate. I was slightly surprised actually that it wasn't him that went off for Bernardo. I don't know, I just expected it. But
I think Engels was struggling because he was playing up against Yashari, who was just all over him. He couldn't really get into the game, and I just felt that, you know, Bernardo's running would be the obvious one. And Hatate's now, well, he's been a bit slack this whole second half, but I'm not surprised. Look, McCowan.
Well, it looks like they've decided to change that substitution. We'll get to that when we get to it, but Callum McGregor has it in the Bruges half, gives it to Hatate, who's still on the pitch for now. Johnston, right full back, right on the touchline. We're into the final 5 minutes of the 90 at Celtic Park, and it is Celtic 1, Club Bruges 1 on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extras. Baye turns away for Vermont, but the striker works back really well and pinches it back, and Says fires it to Vermont, and then McGregor gets a toe on that, but it breaks for Van Aken, who's been much quieter in the second period. Wide to De Kuyper, and it's a big early cross or switch to Says, who wins ahead of Baye, but just dribbles through to Kasper Schmeichel, who rolls it to Hatate. Carter Vickers. The Celtic fans getting restless because they would dearly love a winner here. The point is by no means a dreadful result or anything of the sort, but you know, your home game's obviously so important. They go to Zagreb next, and then after Christmas they have young boys here before finishing away to Aston Villa, and they probably don't want to need a result going to Villa Park, but we shall see.
But Bruges are a good side, and you don't, you know, refuse a point. Obviously you go and try and get all three, but a point's not a disastrous result considering where Celtic are in the position they're in to advance, and that is the ultimate goal.
Here is Kuhn though, still time. Johnston back to McGregor towards the right touchline, to Johnson, who's increasingly popping up in the middle of the pitch. Trusty at the left centre back in the Bruges half, gives it to Forrest, left hand side, just in from the touchline, rolls it to Bernardo, lets it run across his body, but Yashari has been magnificent, just marshes him all the way, and then it's forward for Kuhn. Burrows round on the left foot, pass it to Johnson, then gets the return on the outside, chips a ball in. Forrest at the back post, crucial touch from the Bruges defence as Forrest was lurking. Celtic players and fans claiming that was behind for a corner, and the referee's blown, and now it's a bit of pushing and shoving going on, but nothing much in it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not known for his heading ability, James Forrest, but when that's cut to the back post, you want him to go and attack it. He's waiting to see what happens, and then the ball bounces. It's Trusty and Vermont who have a little bit of afters. Referees nipping that right in the bud, but that's a chance for Celtic.
Well, Nicholas Kuhn has been replaced by Kunjun Yang for the closing stages for Celtic. 2.5 minutes left of the 90. We'll see what's added. Celtic corner. It's 1-1. Bernardo takes with the right foot, curls it right on top of the goalkeeper, flicked away by Ordonez. Crucial header, and it's gone for a corner on the other side now.
Great time to score, wouldn't it? Imagine the noise in here if Celtic find a goal to put them in front. And I'm not going to say a winner after last night.
Well, yes, quite. And what's going on there? Solis went and played the ball as if he thought the corner had been taken, and the ref saying, hang on a minute.
Did he think that just went all the way across and never went out?
I don't know what that's about. Anyway, Celtic corner on the far side now. Is there a dramatic twist left? Corner comes in, fired to the back post. This time it's over everyone. Hatate's there on the volley, and that would have been spectacular, but it was horribly miscued and well wide.
It was pretty. He could have probably taken it down again, James, couldn't he, on his chest, and maybe had a better opportunity to hit that on the volley from that angle. Would have been some goal. So yeah, maybe a chance gone slightly.
Got excited there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Going for the spectacular. I don't mind it. Trusty being the one at the back post that made that run to clear the space for the Tati to get the strike away.
Mignolet's goal kick into the final minute of the 90 at Celtic Park, still 1-1. Bernardo hacks it forward, Ida won't get there. Ordonez balloons it into the sky. Carter Vickers header, and Forrest flicks it on, and now it's with Hatate on the halfway line. Bernardo, his pass is picked off by the Cowper, and then the Cowper's pass is picked off in turn by Callum McGregor. Ball turned over as it's floated forward for Yang to chase, won't get there. Van Aken controls, gives it to Onyedika, back to the Bruges captain on the left touchline.
I don't think he's given the ball away once. Van Aken really good.
And then Solis was looking for Tolby, but he's put it straight out the park, and it'll be a Celtic throw-in in their own half. Baye goes back to Trusty, does well to protect the ball, and then Baye, not a great pass, but again Trusty took that down brilliantly, because there's no need to chip that about 4 feet in the air from Baye. 4 minutes added at Celtic Park. 4 minutes for Celtic or Club Brugge to find a winner. Bruges thought they might have had it in the second half, but Ferran Jukla's strike was disallowed for offside. The Celtic Park crowd roar. They are desperate for a goal here. Up to Ida, who controls it well while holding off Michele. He's jinking about, rolls it back to Carter Vickers. Across the centre circle to Austin Trusty. Trusty with the left foot to Forrest. Forrest infield to Hatate, trying to hold off Onyedika. Gives it to Forrest, middle of the pitch, goes back to Carter Vickers. Celtic just trying to probe and pry for an opening as it goes up to Forrest, who's inverted at the moment. Baye on the outside, comes in field. Baye turns back towards the touchline and gives it to Forrest. He's up against size, comes in field, right foot, rolls it to Hatate, takes on the turn, can't get the shot away as Onyedika puts a good challenge in, and then Solis gives it back to Mignolet in the goals, and he shells it long, and Vermont wins that contact, but it drops for Carter Vickers, who gives it to Trusty.
Yeah, it's just been one of those nights for Hatate, isn't it? You know, he's in a great position. Normally you see him being able to deal with it, and he didn't.
Forrest goes past Size, and has he won the free kick? He has, and the yellow card comes out for Joaquin Size, and Celtic with a free kick just about in line with the Bruges penalty area, left hand side.
Brilliant from Forrest. A couple of times he's dropped his shoulder to go left and come inside, popped it. This time he drops inside on the right, back onto the left. Size brings him down. Great position to get this ball in towards that back post area. Good bit of pace, height on it. Allows someone to go and attack it, make Bruges defend it, and if they all miss it, maybe sneak into that back post.
Christos Solis has just gone off for Kasper Nielsen, so it's a winger for a midfielder for Bruges, and we've played 2 of the 4 added minutes. Bernardo's going to take this free kick on the left hand side for Celtic. It's going to be an in-swinger with a right foot. Here he comes, Bernardo strikes it towards a target. Bruges win the header, and it spins away to Baye. Arrowed past Hatate, who heads it into the box, flicked on, it's bubbling about, edge of the area, and Saiss lashes it clear towards the halfway line, and Celtic got to be careful here because Baye goes up, he's nudged by Yashari. Celtic want the free kick, Brendan Rodgers is appealing, they're not going to receive it from the referee, but it does at least break up the Bruges counter. And
the young boy Saiss had 2 brilliant headers there. Really, the first header from the free kick, and then the second one when that header was back in from Hatate. Just really good defending from the young man.
Thrown down the line by Bruce to Vermont. Brilliant turn, tries to force it towards Nielsen, but it breaks for Ida right on the halfway line in front of the dugout. Comes back to Ida, then Bernardo, and Hatate. Is there one last chance at Celtic Park? We're into the final minute. Carter Vickers for Johnston, the noise levels crank up. Johnston takes it forward, gives it to Yang, comes in on the left foot, cross towards the back post, Forrest scrambles after it, and it's going to be a Celtic corner because Saiss got a touch on that. This may be the last chance for Celtic.
It's another one for Forrest to potentially gamble on.
They go quickly. Bernardo to Forrest, Bernardo left corner of the box, curls it to the back post, crucial header from Bruges, comes back in, and then Saiss again is the man there to clear it for Bruges. Yashari chases, Baye goes after it, not the best initial touch, he smashes it forward, Saiss's header. Nielsen heads it straight to Forrest. Forrest has it on the left hand side, he's looking for an option, gives it to Bernardo, takes on the turn, Bernardo, Hatate nicks it forward, and Mignolet speeds up his line and smothers it on the edge of the 6-yard box. We have played the 4 added minutes, and that, I suspect, will be that at Celtic Park.
That's so close as well. Little pass into Bernardo, he's trying to lay it for Hatate to get the shot away. It's just a bit in front of him. Hatate, you can see, he's just trying to flick that the outside of his right boot and spin it into the path of Yang, and it just overhits it.
There is a full-time whistle. It will not be a 4th home win in a row in the Champions League for Celtic, but what a fascinating game of football. It was gripping, it was compelling. 2 really good teams going head to head, and Club Brugge showed why they've been so impressive in this competition. They had the lead in the first half. Cameron Carter-Vickers under pressure passed it back towards his own goal. He thought Schmeichel was there, he was not, and it crept right into the bottom corner to gift Bruges the leads. Celtic though came back in the second half. They had much more of the game, much more pressure, and Daisen Maeda came up with a moment of magic. Brilliant turn on the left hand side of the box, came in on the right foot and curled one sublimely, which kissed the post on its way into the net to draw Celtic level. It was end to end, it was frantic, it was really compelling stuff here at Celtic Park, and Bruges thought they might have got the crucial second. Some neat play in and around the box led to Jugla finishing from close range, but VAR intervened to chalk that one off for both sides for offside, and in the end, despite chances at either end, neither team could find the breakthrough. So Celtic move on to 8 points in the Champions League table, Bruges on to 7. But what a game it was, thoroughly entertaining, and it's another pretty positive result for Celtic in the Champions League. Full time on match day 5. Celtic 1, Club Brugge 1.
Celtic in the Champions League.
Live on Sports Sound.